Hello everyone, I'm Dalmo Buzato, and together with my colleague Átila Vital, we are going to present today our project. The title of this presentation is How to Document an Emergent Contact Language, the Strategies for Documenting and Achieving the Language Contact of Warao Refugees in Brazil. The reason of this work is due to the unstable existence of contact languages. In their nature, contact languages become extinct when the communicative situation between speakers of different languages ends. And this situation can be, for example, the business situations, migrations, and many others. And in addition to that, when a contact language emerges in a multilingual ecology, this language usually suffers from low resources social prestige and is usually not taught in schools. And it also doesn't have any instruments of social stimulation. We can see, for example, literature, media use, government use, and others as well. And we are, as researchers, as linguists, we think a lot of how to preserve these languages, how to maintain them alive. And one of the strategies we think in the past years is to create corpora for these languages, specifically creating corpora for contact languages. And this is a very good relationship between corpus linguistics and contact descriptive linguistics. And many researchers of worldwide are trying to do that, but it's a very difficult task. In addition to this, some researchers, computer scientists, computational linguists, are trying to create tree banks that are mailing data sets. In this paper, we will talk mainly about universal dependencies tree banks to try to document these languages as well. But we can also use web for language preservation and documentation. And for this, we can extract data from digital social networks, for example, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X. But we can also have data from digital newspapers. In this work, our data set is composed by spoken and written data produced by Venezuelan refugees in Brazil. And we extract data from a lot of different places in internet and in real world as well, as we will talk later. All of our data is produced by indigenous refugees of the Warao ethnic group we will talk now. The Warao people, they are from Orinoco Delta, that is a river in Venezuela, but also in Guyana and Suriname. And they are more than 45,000 people only in Venezuela. They are speakers of a homogeneous native language with non-linguistic relatives. That means that this language is very different from other languages we have in the world, and some of them are speakers of Spanish as a second language. And talking about their cultural characteristics, they are not a people with nomadic characteristics before the growing status of subalternity that made them migrate to other countries in South America, including Brazil. The first thing we describe in our work is the written signs. They produced these signs asking the Brazilian population for help. So we have photographs of them since the year of 2018. Most of them are from newspapers, websites, and journalist texts. But we also have a field work carried out in the city of Belo Horizonte since the year of 2022, where we collected these photographs. Some initial studies about it are was made by Mesquita and also by us in three different papers. And in this corpora, in this data, we can see a presence of a diverse linguistic phenomena that go beyond code switching, and we can hypothesize about the emergence of a mixed or a new language in this ecology, in this contact context. And for annotating the linguistic phenomena we have in this data, we use the universal dependencies framework. In this slide, we have an example of data. For example, in the transcription, Bom dia, hermanos, nosso necesita una colaboración para comprar comida para nosso el venezuelano. The choice of universal dependencies is based on its typological proposal and its growing use by the scientific community for annotating non-Indo-European and under-resourced languages. This is how we annotate that text I showed in the previously slide in this using the framework we choose, the universal dependencies.
Well, now I'm going to say some words about the spoken data part. Firstly, we have two main sources for spoken data. The first one is from a pilot study we did with YouTube videos and in general videos available in the internet. And the second part of spoken data, we will work actually with field works in Belo Horizonte, trying to record some Warao population in different support houses that helps refugees in the city. Next one, please. The first part of the research with the YouTube videos and interviews with the Warao population, we were trying to transcribe them using basic criteria of transcription used by the Coral Brasil's corpus. That is one of the the most important corpus of Brazilian Portuguese. That has some 35 criteria of transcriptions, and they consider that the spoken language is based on the utterance level, a pragmatic and prosodic information, and the utterance can be subdivided in lots of international units that contains in the borders non-terminal prosodic breaks, such as those in the example 2. We have breaks with 1 bar and breaks with 2 bars. The breaks with 1 bar represent the international units that are not enough when we listen to the audio, and it has not a complete pragmatic information. But for us, it's not so important the nature of the prosodic unit, but the segmentals, the words inside them. And to do this, we used the semi-orthographic criteria adapted from Coral Brasil's that try to capture criticizations, aphoretic forms, different verbal morphology for Portuguese, and so on. But we can increase those criteria to represent the phenomenon that we want to annotate from the contact variety. The next one. We did an adaptation from the sociolinguistic header, the sociolinguistic information that were used in the Coral Brasil's corpus. Here in the left, we have an example of the sociolinguistic information for one recording from the YouTube video with an interview with a Warao speaker, the VAR one. In this file, we have the name of the participant, the acronym of the participant that is used in the transcription, gender, origin, and other sociolinguistic information that are important to describe the speech. The date, place in which this recording occurred, situation, and lots of other informations. In the last information here, the comments, we can put here different forms that has been listened in the refugees' speech. For example, in the number 1 here, we have forms originated by contact at the second 10, the speaker speaks bobo instead of vovó. That is a quite common phenomenon that happens in the contact between Spanish and Portuguese, the change with the consonants, instead of v. Um, the recordings will be with a very professional equipment, so probably it will have a high acoustic quality. The next one, please. Here we have a spectrogram, a very good spectrogram with formants representations that will be capable to be captured with the equipment. We have some potential linguistic phenomena that has been observed during the last research. For example, constant borrowing from Spanish and Brazilian Portuguese, recurring confusion between the use of adjectives such as Venezuelan instead of Venezuela. So the speakers sometimes change the name of the country to the adjectives, or the adjective to the name of the country. It happens a lot. Absence of copula. Warao language is a language without copula. There is no description of copula for it. The use of accusative pronoun postposed to the verb, that is quite frequent in Spanish, but it's not so frequent in Brazilian Portuguese. It's more frequent in European Portuguese, but not in Brazilian Portuguese, such as ajuda-me instead of me ajuda, that means help me. The next one, please. Our current and future steps, I will say very fast. Well, our main goal is to contain around 60 transcribed and annotated signs and 20 recordings of spontaneous speech, each recording with something close to 1,500 words, transcribed, segmented, and text sound aligned. Investigate the use of some Warao refugees on digital social networks, and spontaneous speech records will happen in Belo Horizonte. The next one. Now I'm going to say some words about the FAIR principles. We are trying to make all of those steps using representing the FAIR principles. It means that our data will be easily findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. It will be available on digital repositories. The annotations will follow protocols that are commonly used by other researchers, such as universal dependencies and lots of very good frequent used corpus activities. The use lessons will allow use and citation by researchers worldwide. The next one, please. This is our references, and thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be here.
See you.